guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome, and if you've been here before, welcome back. My name is Luz, and today's beauty video is gonna be a review and comparison of two new drugstore stick foundations that came out in the market recently. The first one that we're gonna try out on one side of our face is gonna be the L'Oreal Infallible Longwear Shaping Stick Foundation with sunscreen. This is what the packaging looks like. And the other one we're trying out is the Maybelline SuperStay Multi-Use Foundation Stick. And this is what that one looks like. So if you're interested in seeing which one performs best, if they're awesome or if they just completely suck, then keep on watching. So like I said, we're gonna do half of our face with one stick and we're gonna do the other one with the other. Let's start off by comparing the packaging first, because first and foremost, first thing you look at when you go into the store is the packaging. So let's see, the L'Oreal Infallible comes with 0.32 ounces. The SuperStay comes with 0.25. So straight off the bat, you get more product with the L'Oreal than the Maybelline. Let's see. So this is the L'Oreal and this is the Maybelline. That's a big difference. I mean, let me look at the prices. You do pay more for the L'Oreal. The L'Oreal retails for $12.99 or so, give or take. If you have coupons, you can always use coupons at Walgreens, which is where I like to shop for my makeup. Sometimes Walmart has the makeup for cheaper though. The Maybelline retails for $9.99. Again, give or take, depending on whether you have coupons or not, where you shop. All of that matters. So I'm just saying, going off of what it says on their particular website. So L'Oreal is $12.99, Maybelline is $9.99. So you pay $3 more for a little bit more product, which is for 7.7 ounces more. You pay $3 more. Maybelline $9.99. You get a quarter of an ounce. Most foundations, like liquid foundations, they come with 1 fluid ounce, so it's gonna last you a little bit longer than, let's say, this. But we don't know, we might just need a tiny little bit, and that's why it just, you know, comes compact. It might just be super concentrated, that we might not need that much foundation to begin with. But it's something to just know and something that I'm throwing out there. You get a tiny little bit of product. Let's continue comparing the packaging. So Maybelline's is white, all white. It's super cute. I really like how it looks so chic and so nice. The only thing is that this one comes with the blender, which is nice and squishy, and this one does not. So if you take off the blender, they're the same size. If you add on the blender side, it'd probably both be, again, the same size. This one does not include the blender and this one does. I am not going to use the blender because I'm going to compare them using a brush, and that's how I'm going to apply it. I'm not even going to bother with the blender. I'm going to do it all with the brush so that they can be nice and even. I'm sure there are other reviews out there that might be using the sponge. Just because I have so many brushes and most people have brushes, I don't think that you need to use this brush, this blender. If you use a beauty blender, you can use that as well. But I would like to know if anybody's tried it with the blender, how it works with this particular blender, how it works for you guys. And let us all know in the comment section down below and see how you like it if you've used it with the actual blender. For review purposes of this video, I'm not going to go ahead and do that. The Maybelline says it's a multi-use foundation stick, cream to matte formula, plus a precision blender full coverage. The Infallible says Infallible Longwear Shaping Stick Foundation with sunscreen. So L'Oreal has sunscreen. We'll see if it has any flashback. Maybelline does not claim to have any sunscreen. Now let's talk about the shade range. So Maybelline comes with 16 shades. The neat thing about the Maybelline one is that if you already love their SuperStay foundation, you can definitely go off of that shade. That's what I did. I'm shade golden currently in this foundation, so I picked up golden in the stick. So that's something nice to note. There is 16 shades, like I said, so it's not a huge range, but it might just be what they're starting off with, and they're gonna probably add some more later on. I'm not sure, because sometimes most companies are not doing that. As far as drugstore, I don't know of any foundation sticks out there, so just the fact that there's 16 shades available for a stick foundation, I mean, I don't know. We gotta give them a little bit of prop. I'm not saying that they have all the colors of the rainbow, and I'm not saying that they don't either, but at least it's not like 6, you know? And for the L'Oreal has 12 foundation shades. So you get a little bit more selection with the Maybelline versus L'Oreal. There's only 12. So four different shades, 4 more different shades to choose from with the Maybelline. I mean, yeah, something to note, and it is it's more pricier than this one, so you would think that they made a little bit more shades because it's pricier. I don't know, that's just my reasoning. I don't know how they do manufacture makeup, but that's just my reasoning. And to be honest, I could tell the shade range, it was not the best. I had to pick up 2 of the L'Oreal because it just jumps so much from one to the other, and I think I'm gonna have to mix these 2 together. This is the shade Honey, and this is the shade Tan. I knew Honey was gonna be way too dark for me, and Tan was gonna be way too light for me. So from Tan it jumps up to Honey, and that's a big difference. Like, it jumps up way too much. Like, there needs to be a color in the middle. And then just for shits and giggles, let's put this one here. So this is originally I had just purchased Honey. Is this Honey? No, this is Tan. I had purchased Honey, but the only reason why I went back is because when I saw that Golden was looking similar to Tan, I figured that it would match. So I already swatched them, but I'm going to swatch them again for you. I swatched them off camera, and Tan is definitely way too light and a little bit more pink tone. So because we're talking about the color, let's go ahead and swatch them now, just so that you guys can see the difference in the colors. So this is Tan. This is Honey. And this is Golden from Maybelline. So I know Golden looks like it's not gonna match me, but once you blend it, it totally matches. I could go a shade darker, we'll see, but we'll start off with this one, just because this is what I use for the liquid one. This one's way too dark, and this one is way too pink. See, Golden blends nice into the chest. Could always just blend it a little more. So those are the shades that I picked up, and see the big skip, like it goes from this all the way up to this. There needs to be a shade in the middle. L'Oreal. All right, so now that we've covered our bases, we know how many shades there are, we see the difference in the packaging, and we've seen the difference in their claims. Let's put these bad boys to the test and on my face. I'm going to use my trusty old NYX Angel Veil primer. This is the go-to primer, especially when I am trying out new foundations, because I've used it so much. And I'm also going to do a little bit of my Smashbox primer water. And let's begin. So I'm going to use 2 different brushes, one for each side of my face. They're similar, but they're not the same. I don't have 2 brushes that are exactly the same, but I do want to use a brush for this. I'm not going to color correct because I want to see if this really is full coverage, and just so that you can see the true foundation application. I'm going to start off with the Maybelline on my right hand side. So it does apply quite creamy. It's not tugging at all. So I think that should be enough. That will count that as one layer. And let's start blending. Okay, so I finished blending that out. I don't think that it is full coverage. You can still see my redness right here, and definitely my redness here. And it's settling around my nose, like right here. It's kind of settling, and you can see my pores a lot. And right underneath the eyes right here, it looks kind of dry. Let's do another layer. It's not blending nicely around the nose, that's for sure. It kind of settles in the nose area, and it looks really cakey around the nose. And right here, it looks really dry, like really dry. Settling into my pores really bad, and it looks so dry right here, and just settling into everything, even my fine lines here. Ugh. I'm gonna give it a few minutes, and I'm gonna go on with this side and see how that one works. So I'm gonna mix these two shades together, starting off with tan. It's definitely way too pink for me, and I'm gonna add honey right over top. And I'm going to use this brush to blend it all. Well, this one blended out a little bit better, but I don't think it's full coverage. It does claim to be medium to full coverage. So let's do another layer. I don't see any full coverage on either one, and that's with 2 layers. Let me bring you close so you can see the difference. At least this one, the L'Oreal blends better. Let me bring you close so you can see. Look at how it just settles here in my nose for Maybelline, and then you see how dry it is here. I'm not sure if the camera's gonna pick it up, but just it looks so dry right here, and it's not really blending nice. And right up here, it's not really blending. Oh, right up here. And then this is L'Oreal, which I don't feel like it gave hardly any coverage, but at least it blended nice. My cheeks are still red. This one's definitely settling around my smile lines. You can see the streaks of the brush with this side. All right, I'm gonna do my foundation and the rest of my face off camera, and I'll be right back with the finished result. We are gonna wear this foundation through the rest of the day, and we're still gonna keep the right side and left side. I'm gonna do exactly the same on both sides so that we can truly compare and see what it looks like at the end of the day and which one wins. We'll have to stay tuned, because so far I'm not liking either one. Let's see. All right, you guys, so here is the completed look. I finished off the full face using just my everyday products. I did exactly the same on both sides. And from what I could tell you is that if you look at it from afar, it looks the same. It looks like I used the same product all over my face. Now, if you remember, on the right hand side, I used Maybelline. Let me take a closer look and see how it looks. So I could definitely see a lot of texture right underneath my eyes, a lot of texture right around the nose. Let me zoom you guys in. So I can see a lot of texture right around the tip of my nose. I can see it settling into the right hand side of where I put the Maybelline, right around the smile lines. On my nose, it is so, all you can see, all my pores. The highlight area right up here, you can definitely see the pores. Sorry about the lighting, guys. Honestly, I've been messing around with it and I have no idea what changed. more so on the Maybelline side than on the L'Oreal side. I really don't like this area here. Like, so bumpy and dry looking. It does not look good at all. Everywhere else it looks alright. I think once I put the powders and bronzers, everything on, it kind of just settled into my skin, except around this area here, which is the T-zone, which is where I'm usually the most oily. It's around my T-zone, especially my nose. So I don't know if that's the reason why, but I remember when I was applying it over here, it looked so dry, and this is where I'm the most dry. I don't know what's affecting it for it to look like this. It just might be that it does not work well with my skin. But so far, we're gonna keep it like this. I'm gonna wear it throughout the day, and I'll do a few little check-ins just to see how it progresses or how it goes throughout the rest of the day. I'll keep you guys updated throughout the day. And I'll let you guys know what's up. So so far, I'm liking the way that the L'Oreal blended out. I think it did a good job blending out. It was not full coverage, none at all. It was medium coverage. I couldn't build it up to a full coverage. However, the L'Oreal one has a poor color selection, which you saw the swatches. It went from tan to honey, and it was just all bad all around. So that's kind of like a bummer, and it is pricier. The L'Oreal was pricier than the Maybelline. The Maybelline, however, it has a good color. It matches really good for my skin tone, but it does not blend well. It did not look good. I am gonna try it with the beauty sponge later on, you know, as I continue trying this foundation on. But I'll leave you guys an update if I do continue using this with the sponge. I'll leave an update down in the description bar to let you guys know how it goes. If it doesn't work with the beauty sponge either, it's gonna go back to the drugstore. I have no shame in returning a product that did not work for me. This, like I said, it was $12.99. This is $24. I can get my money back or use it for something else. Let's continue wearing this. I'll keep you guys updated, and I'll let you guys know my thoughts at the very end, and we'll see what I rate this foundation. Is it an A? Is it a 10 out of 10? So far, I'm gonna say it's a no, but it might change. Let's give it a quick rating right now. 10 out of 10, no. I'm gonna take off a point for the L'Oreal for having such a bad color selection, really bad, just horrible. I'm not gonna take off a point off of Maybelline, even though it does not have the best color selection. I'm not gonna take a point off just because I found something that matches pretty good, and they have a little bit more color selection than the L'Oreal. As far as the claims, they both claim to be, well, Maybelline claimed to be full coverage. It's not full coverage, so I'm going to take off a point for Maybelline. So far, we got a 9 and a 9. And as far as blendability, I'm going to take away a point for Maybelline as well, because it just did not blend good into the skin. So we got a 9 and an 8. We'll have to see if the claims. It's one set, which one? Maybelline claims to be a matte foundation. It is pretty matte, but not extremely matte, so we'll keep that as it is. Maybelline, you're still an 8, and L'Oreal is a 9. So we got a 9 out of 10 and an 8 out of 10. We'll see how it goes throughout the rest of the day and keep you guys updated. See you guys soon. All right, you guys, it's time for the first update. I've had this foundation on for about 4 hours, and I can already tell that it's gotten quite greasy, especially around the nose. Let me try and compare and see if one looks worse than the other. Let me just take a look in the mirror real quick. I can kind of feel that the left side, which is the L'Oreal side, definitely looks a little bit more greasy than this side. You can see around this area here around the nose, it's gotten quite greasy, and then compared to this one, it doesn't look as bad. I did take a flash test a few hours ago, no, maybe like an hour and a half ago. By the way, please excuse the nose and disregard, I was wearing my glasses throughout the day, so that part we're not gonna just pay attention to it. So I took a flash test earlier, and my whole face looks white. like really bad. I don't know if it's the powder or if it's the actual foundation, and that's something that kind of irks me because I think it might be the powder, because the Maybelline one does not have sunscreen, and even that side looks really bad, like white, and the L'Oreal does have sunscreen, but like I said, though, just the whole face looks white, and I think it is the powder. I'm gonna put a picture of it right around here so you guys can see how just bad it looks in flash lighting. And for reference, I am using the Makeup Revolution luxury baking powder in the shade Banana. That's what I set my whole face with and my under eye, and it just, oh boy, it looks bad. It looks really bad. But other than that, I can see it definitely breaking down right around my nose right here for the Maybelline side, and the same with the L'Oreal side. And it doesn't look cakey, but I'm still having that issue where it does look tiny bit cakey right around the hairline. Even from the get-go, it looked that way, and this side does not look like that at all. It's still staying pretty good everywhere else. I don't have an issue with it. It's still, they're both settling into my fine lines. Yeah, so far that is my update. The foundation seems to be holding off. 4 hours into it, I am getting oily. I am getting a little bit of creasiness, a little bit of settling into fine lines. So that being said, I'm gonna keep the foundation on for another 4 hours, and I'll check in at that time to let you know how it's going. Thank you for watching. All right, guys, it's time for the next update. It's 6:30, so I've had the foundation on for a little bit over 8 hours, and as you can tell, I am looking hella greasy. My cheeks, the forehead, and the chin got a lot of glow going on because I am super duper oily. Everywhere else though, it looks pretty good. The foundation has helped the blush and bronzer stay put. I am feeling very greasy around the nose, and I can't help it but to look at it and just cringe at how greasy it looks, because I can't touch up, and I won't touch up at all. It is coming off right around here. It's fading off, and that's the Maybelline side. Oh, it's definitely come off my nose. Like, you see how it's come off right there? That's because of the oils. Of course, my nose because of my glasses. Everywhere else, I feel like it looks fine. Oh, right here, look at how it got, like, it creased really bad. Alright, so that's the update. It has settled right around, especially my right hand side. I feel like it just settled really bad, and it's separating worse than the L'Oreal side. So I'm going to keep wearing it for the rest of the day. I'm probably going to be taking off my makeup around 8 or 9 o'clock. I'll check in at that time. That will be my last update. Let you know the final thoughts on the comparison for these two foundations right over here. See you guys soon. Alright guys, it's time for my last check-in. It's currently 10:47, which makes it that I've had this foundation on almost 12 hours. And let me take off my glasses. Please excuse this part here. Let me take a closer look up here at the mirror. So it's completely worn off around the nose. I do have to admit, I did touch up. I went to go get my toes done, and I did not want to go out there looking like a total grease ball. So I did put a little bit of powder on my T-zone, but everything else I left it like it was. So now that I powdered about 4 hours ago, maybe 3.5 hours ago. It doesn't look as greasy. The foundation did come off right around the nose on both sides. And it's come off around the mouth. You see this one, the Maybelline side, it's settled into my fine line right there. Not as much as this side, but this side looks like it's rubbed off. As well as this side. So to give my final thoughts on this, I am going to keep leaving the Maybelline an 8 out of 10. I feel like I want to knock off another point just because it says a 24-hour wear, when really it didn't really last even 12 hours. So I'm going to put 7 out of 10. And the Maybelline, the Revlon, I'm going to leave it as a 9 out of 10. It didn't claim to be 24-hour wear. It did claim to be long lasting. I feel like it's a hard one. That's really a hard one. Should I leave it at 9 or leave it at 8? I'm going to leave it as an 8. I'm going to leave the Revlon as an 8 out of 10 and the Maybelline a 7 out of 10. I am going to return the Maybelline, and also I might return just the tan shade of the Revlon. I feel like the honey color would be a great just like bronzing shade, or even like a contouring shade. But before I do that, I am going to try it out with the beauty sponge. I am going to leave you guys updated down below and let you know what I think, how it worked out with this beauty sponge as well. But I do want to thank you guys all for watching. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and do so by clicking that red subscribe button down below. While you're at it, go ahead and ring that notification bell. That way you can be notified every single time I upload a video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys and stay blessed. Until next time.